Hey, Christian Jones here with Firework Stand Marketer. Let's talk about websites for a fireworks store or a fireworks stand. The pandemic that's hit us has caused a lot of businesses, fireworks businesses aside, to try and move virtual. It has accelerated technology being implemented or adopted in spaces that it wasn't before. How many of you now are like really comfortable on Zoom meetings or doing virtual stuff with people online from a business standpoint, right? And so the fireworks space, there's been some innovation, right? Like a lot of us have tried to move to Ecom sites where I could go on and place an order and then pick it up curbside. And I've seen a lot of that, and I'm not against that conceptually. I'm gonna tell you that I've got my own stands, right? So I'm the CEO of Firework Stand Marketer, doing digital marketing for fireworks stores and stands across the country. But also I've got a few of my own retail operations. And back in 2020, I did build my own Ecom site for my stands. We did try and run curbside delivery or rather curbside pickup at our operations. And we had the whole system set up. It was synced with our inventory, of course, our POS system. Everything was, kind of in line. We had a dedicated area outside of our space for people to drive by and pick up. And about 15 people used it. A massive amount of time, resources, and human resource too, to go and get this thing launched. I mean, just the amount of time to get the site set up, pricing hooked up, make sure that the website connected properly. I mean, there's things you can do that obviously shortcut it. I didn't program it myself, right? But that was a huge effort for us in 2020, and it just didn't really do anything. And so I'm not saying that e-com websites are not worth considering. My market, maybe my stands in particular, maybe that just doesn't work for my area or my clientele. That's fine. Some of you might be in areas where they're really gonna appreciate the curbside pickup option. So I'm trying to be generous with my reality. What I experience might not be what you're experiencing. However, what I would tell you is your website has one primary job, and they can have a lot of, second, third, fourth priorities in terms of its function. The primary function for your website is to help you get found on Google, period. E-com websites, it's more about obviously making a purchase, making a buying decision, and that doesn't drive traffic to the site. That's once the traffic's already on the site, that's the thing you're trying to get them to do. But e-com sites at times are limited in their capacity to do SEO, search engine optimization. And so what I'm kind of telling you is the traditional site that doesn't have e-com and is just a homepage, your about page, your contact page, maybe some blog posts, some more information on you. Hey, who's behind this operation, more about your team, the history, whatever. That style site, the site that is kind of more traditional, if you will, has some value when it's built out properly from an SEO standpoint. Why? An e-com site is usually not going to have a lot of content. It's going to have videos, products, carts, add stuff to the cart, check out, get the shipping or delivery, curbside pickup set up, right? But what Google's looking for nowadays from websites as it relates to ranking on Google and being on page one is content, is H1 tags, meta descriptions, alt image tags, etc. Like all of these, if you know what any of that means, don't worry. Basically, Google is looking for content on your site that is on the back end, properly set up technically, and on the front end, reads like, oh, this is unique, this is valuable, this is not boilerplate content that we're finding on 1,000 other sites. And e-com sites don't usually do that. So here's my play for you. If you've got an e-com site and you like it, keep it. But you can have a primary site that says, your main call to action, the button, shop now. Place a curbside pickup order. And that then routes to your e-com store. So let's use an example stand to kind of illustrate the point. Let's say your fireworks stand is texasfireworks.com. So texasfireworks.com is your main website, right? That's the SEO'd site. There's content, it's built properly for Google, but then on texasfireworks.com, I go to the call to action, and that leads me to shop.texasfireworks.com. That's called a subdomain. You can put your ecom site on a subdomain, link it to the primary site, and they're functionally two sites, but you get the benefit of both. If you don't already have an ecom site and you're thinking that having an ecom site is going to somehow drive traffic for you, I just want you to pause and hear me. That's not what an ecom site's designed to do. An ecom site is not going to drive a ton of traffic. It is a nice function to have when your customers want it, but it itself is not necessarily going to bring a lot of new visitors to your site, right? So these are things to consider. Each scenario is different. We've got some customers that do use ecom sites, and we run the play that I mentioned with primary site and a subdomain for the ecom site, right? I've got some people that love their ecom site and they want that to be primary. But a lot of you haven't really thought that intentionally about your website. You built it yourself on Wix or Squarespace. Some other person built it for you and you kind of hate it and you want help. This is a good kind of primer for how to think about making changes or building a site for the first time. And we're here to help. So go ahead, click to go to our site, fireworksandmarketer.com, send us an email, give us a call. You can get a discovery call with us where we'll go over your site or lack of site and make a plan. We're here to help. We want to educate, we want to teach, we want to give you value and help you make informed decisions that leads to you growing. And so if you want to pick up this thread and talk more about websites, man, we would love to talk with you. We would love to be a part of the conversation, and we look forward to talking with you soon.